For those non-police officers amongst you,
Stay away, go that way.
Go out that door.
Keep going.
it's customary for a retiring old Bill to say a few words. Before my next... I can't read this. Before my next and I want to make some dribbling slur, I'd like to say thank you to a few people. And a customer.
It's also customary for somebody to do your retirement speech for you. So you go take a seat for a minute.
Thank God for that.
John, take your mic. You can get the
It's all planned.
It was.
You sit there.
Turn the mic on.
1, 2, 1, 2. Can you hear me at the back? Ladies and gents, excuse me, sorry. I interrupted the meeting. Swap chairs, good idea. Ladies and gents, for those that you don't know me, I'm John Owen. I've been a work colleague of Gary's, a teammate, but mostly a very good friend of Gary's for 29 years. Although, me being a Liverpool supporter, Gary being a Chelsea supporter, that friendship has been tested on occasion. But a funny thing happened to me on the way here today. I was at Gary's house and we were engaged in a conversation, and I said, Gary, what's the order of events tonight? What's the plan? And Gary said, well, kicks off at 7. We're going to have food about 8:15. He says, I'm going to do my speech at 8 o'clock. And I said, you're not having somebody to do a speech for you? And he said, no. He said, no. He said, I've been in the police force for 30 years. I've done bugger all, and I don't want somebody standing up and telling everybody. And I said, your secret's safe with me. As I'm sure you're aware, that for those that know Gary, that he's quite a laid-back character, very relaxed, and that makes him easy to get along with on and off duty. Of course, there'll be more off duty now. Julie might have a different opinion, I don't know. Before joining the police, Gary was a company postboy. Were you a boy once?
Can we move on?
A forklift driver, and then wait for it, an efficiency clerk. But thankfully, they soon worked him out and sacked him. He then worked at a garden centre, becoming the assistant manager of the Hardy Perennial in the Credit Place.
I saw this didn't work.
Gary then started a young family, and he decided he wanted a bit more job security. So in August 1987, he took the oath and joined the police service, or police force as it was back then. Anyway, Gary was posted to Alderton Police Station, the same station as me, and we were on the same relief, same shift.
Hang on a minute.
And Gary started finding his feet as a probationer, and then as Christmas 1988 approached, Gary, although still a probationer, he was still quite keen, but it didn't last very long. But that particular month, I was posted as the RT operator on a response car, which was call sign Papa 8. But being a Devon lad, and Christmas approaching, I thought, I want to go home and see my family. So I applied for late minute leave, and I was granted that leave on condition that I could find somebody to replace me. But of course there was what, how many bank holidays? 4 or 5 at double time? So I had no, Gary just, money, yeah, I'm there. I'll do it for you, John. It was nothing to do with the friendship, it was just the money, wasn't it?
How time's it?
So anyway, whilst I'm enjoying family festivities in Devon, Gary's now in the RT car in Orpington, going from police to call. And then I believe on Boxing Day it was, Gary was late, 2 till 10, And Gary, being the keen radio operator he was, he took a call to a male going berserk in Biggin Hill. So off they go, blues and twos. They were whizzing off down Shire Lane. Who was driving, Gary? Do you remember?
Yeah, how can I forget?
And as they approached the left-hand bend, something unsettled the car.
The driver.
I take it she wasn't
So-
invited.
So the next minute, Gary thought he was in a tumble dryer. The car went up on its roof, and he's now going down Shire Lane, upside down, rearranging the hedge on the far side of the road. Thankfully, there was no oncoming traffic. Everybody in the car survived, but Gary was whisked off to hospital, concussed with a traumatic back injury.
It's all right tonight.
And the driver was left at the scene to explain how the non-stick Teflon tyres had let her down. Gary was later released from hospital and went home to have a few weeks to recover to ensure his back was fully recovered before he went back to work. You remember that word? Yeah.
You cut my trees down there.
So a few days later, Gary decides, I'm going to redecorate the house. So there he is, he's in the hallway. This is the wall, here's the radio. He's bent over like this. Painting the wall, doorbell goes. Gary reaches up, opens the door, and there's the police inspector and the police sergeant come round to see how Gary's poor back is doing. So there was a moment's silence. The inspector was drinking in the picture of his poor injured PC, bent double over a radio, painting the wall. Gary looked at the inspector. The inspector looked at Gary. Gary looked at the sergeant. The sergeant rolled his eyes and shook his head from side to side. The governor said, Gary, you'll be at early turn tomorrow morning then, won't you? Gary said yes. And that ended the shortest welfare of his ever.
It's got to clean me paper.
And there was a rather sheepish PC dog at early turn, 6 o'clock the next day. And I'm sorry to say that Gary's back has never fully recovered from this traumatic incident. He does suffer back spasms from time to time, generally every 2 to 3 years whenever a bedroom or bathroom needs decorating.
Or major sporting event.
Gary enjoys most sports. We both played football for Orpington Police in the South East London Thursday League. We enjoyed some success winning the cup one year, I believe. But my most vivid memory of Gary playing was his tackling, which used to make me wince. It was often high or late and sometimes both, but very little got past him. Sometimes the ball would, but never the opponent. You may have seen an example of one of Gary's high tackles in the Orpington Bromley Gazette and the pictures on around the wall. No, there's more.
It's about 8 pages. People are hungry.
There was one night duty. Yes, it was a long time ago, a night duty. Do you remember night duties?
7 of them for you young people. 7.
Gary and I were out together in a station van. Following a call to disturbance, we were confronted by a drunk male wielding a knife who was somewhat emotional and agitated, having been jilted by his girlfriend. Whilst I talked and tried to pacify the young man, Gary outflanked him, deployed the high tackle. We won that match 3-0. As Gary's police career continued, he grew in confidence and stature. His ability and willingness to organise and arrange social events came to bear. Gary challenged our horizons. Christmas functions in majestic Margate, camping in magical Maidstone, booze cruises to Boulogne. There was no end to Gary's mystery tours, but most importantly, we had a laugh, we had fun, and we still talk about them to this day. Possibly the best use of this ability was whilst based at Bickley Police Office. Gary initiated the setting up of a youth club. You may have seen his ugly mug on the picture outside. You're going off me now. But Gary managed to beg, steal and borrow facilities and equipment for the young people in the community. and his hard work was recognised. He learnt all these tips from PC Rogers. He sat over there. Had a beg, steal and borrow. What was your nickname? Skippy, wasn't it?
I've got some wood in the boot.
But Gary's work for the youth club was recognised by the Bromley Crime Partnership, and he was given the award for Above and Beyond. Gary served at Orpington, Lewisham, Sydenham, Bromley and Bickley. He became an advanced driver, a motorcyclist and a driving assessor. So you would think with all this driving training, you could spot the driver in Bromley who was pulling out in front of him. Sadly not. Gary was punted off his motorcycle, but whilst laying prostrate on the floor, with the offending driver stood over him, he still managed to record in his pocketbook, "Sorry officer, I didn't see you when I pulled out." It's like Les Dawson, it's all the right notes but in the wrong order. Oh yeah, and after that the house got decorated again.
It was the Olympics as well.
In his later years as a PC, Gary befriended and mentored lots of young officers and PCSOs who have all benefited from his pearls of wisdom. And I know this is true because Gary told me. But Gary, I'm going to finish now, enough's enough.
Yeah, good.
You have survived 30 years police service, as have a few other people in this room. And that's not an easy thing to do. And whilst you take the credit for those 30 years of service, it must be mentioned the support you've had from your family.
That's in here.
Your
Clear it again, don't worry about it.
your long-suffering wife Julie, only 36 years is it?
Yeah, you say that. I think she's had a good life myself.
Amy, Emily and Mitchell. But finally, Gary, I would like to personally thank you for your unerring friendship, and I'm sure I speak on behalf of everyone here when we all wish you a long and happy retirement. Mary's got a quick presentation for you.
Just quickly to add to John's sterling speech. Incidentally, I don't know if any of you remember the posters that were going on around about the time of the Shire Lane incident. There was a poster campaign about who's taking you home. Do you remember that? the taxi, the ambulance, and the police car. Somebody from who remains nameless managed to cut out that picture of the police car and turn it upside down. Gary, talking of traditions, it's traditional to give a presentation of something to somebody who's achieved 30 years, even 30 years. So on behalf of your friends and colleagues, I'd like to present you with that.
Don't hit anyone.
Just one more thing. We all know you're a Chelsea fan.
Alright.
Yeah?
Hang on, I'm just getting off on this.
It's smelling as wood. We know you're a big Chelsea fan. You ready for a sing song? Are you?
Blue is the colour.
Blue is the colour, football is the game. We're all together, and winning is our aim. So cheer us on through the sun and rain, 'cause Chelsea is our home. In our
I've just got to cut out all that's been said already, actually. Yeah, I think I might just sit down.
Read it all.
I should have worried about your back.
Unaccustomed as I am to public speaking, I'd like to say a big thank you to those that have made the effort to come this evening. Those that are dressed up, and certainly for those guys that have made the effort to book a room in Maidstone.
Table over there.
One thing I'd like to say, immediately now, just look around you. Look, Sue, shut up. Yeah? Just look around you, everyone. Everyone look around you.
We are.
What you see is nice people. Nice people.
Oh.
I like to surround myself with nice people. No twats. No idiots. No knobs. And no senior management. I did invite them, but they couldn't make a decision. I'd like to thank you for celebrating my change of career direction. I prefer that rather than. Can I hire you every week?
Are you having a gap year?
And as I'm the only one here that knows most of you, I'd like, when mentioned, those guys to raise their hands and go whoop whoop, so that everybody else can see who you are. I'd like to start at the very beginning, and I'd like to thank my sisters for being here this evening. Jackie and Beverly, where are you? I do like to test their sense of humour, and believe it or not, they are younger than me. Never guess it. Did I go tell you a bit about losing interest in the job? Yeah.
Every day.
I lost interest in the job shortly after my probation, and came to the conclusion that it was a good way to pay for my family and my social life. So, several boats, canoes, cars later, I've actually completed 30 years, which is quite amazing, really. Moving on. I'd like to thank my long-suffering, beautiful wife as well.
Hey.
Whoop whoop.
As beautiful. That was her mother. I'd like to thank you, darling, for enriching my life.
Oh.
And being the lovely person that you are. And putting up with my moods, my tiredness through shift work, and of course in them days it was proper shift work, not like the pony stuff they have these days. It was 7 nights on in those days. And a quick changeover. And a quick changeover. Yeah, alright. So thank you, darling, for looking after me, and thank you for don't need to clap. Thank you for looking after my 3 beautiful children as well. Alright, leave it. Amy over there. Emily down here is really nice, my wife. And I've got a son somewhere. Mitchell. Now, if you can guess what he's dressed as, I'll buy you a pen. Oh, leave it out. It's like some mug that any student. Right. Done the wife, done the kids. I'd like to thank their partners as well. We've got a resident photographer, Adam, this evening. Who pictures. I'd like to thank Nick, bless him. Where's Nick? Yeah, Nick's he's marrying my other daughter. Yeah, fair play, mate. Fair play. And I'd like to thank Nick's parents as well. Where's a whoop whoop from Nick's parents? Thanks, guys. Swell. And Megan as well. Megan, where's Megan? Megan, Mitchell's girlfriend over there. So thanks guys for doing that and supporting everything. I'd like to thank my mother and father-in-law. Yeah.
Yeah.
What for? I was told to. The job meant missing the kids growing up with shifts and keeping the kids quiet when I was on nights and being grumpy and unsociable.
7 nights on it, Gary.
So I did go to
Quick
drink.
changeover.
Quick changeover, I heard.
Yeah, they were the days. I used to walk miles to school, but I never tell you that story. I started off at Orpington, and we got some, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm really pleased that the old people are still alive, and they made the effort to come here this evening. So that is Maggie and Tim, Mark, John Rogers, Richie Jones over there, Johnny Boy over there, although his speech was pretty shit really. So I'd like to thank the old guys for coming up, and nice to see you still breathing. I spent 5 years, no I didn't, I spent a long time at Orpington, and then I got shafted and moved to Lewisham. Which I've got to say, that aged me by about 20 years. I used to have dark hair before I went there. I knew my time was up when I went to Lewisham. I got posted for the last time to Notting Hill. And I was walking in the cereal. I'm fitting in alright, wasn't I? I was walking through a crowd of people in a cereal through Notting Hill, and this posh totty was in a group of posh totties. And you know, the Chelsea type, and one of them went, "Oh, bacon." So I went, "Ooh, slag." So I thought, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'll probably lose my job. Now, after Lewisham, I got posted to Bickley. Now, I didn't know where Bickley was, and I had to look on the map. But, having gone to Bickley, I met two absolutely amazing people. One is my good friend Tracy.
Oh, whoop,
Tracy is lovely, and she is beautiful, and I've got to watch, I can't say more than I said about the wife, so yeah, Tracy, you're all right. Yeah. And she ran Bickley really. She was the boss and looked after us, which was quite nice. And then the other person there was Stuart, my friend Stuart there. That's enough said of that, yeah. Having said that, he's the only bloke I know, be serious with you now, the only bloke I know that in 5 minutes of meeting him, you're either laughing, crying, cringing, or want to stab him in the eye. Stuart is a legend, and both you and Stuart, I shall never ever forget you. Tracy, I shall never forget you in my long, long days of retirement. And Stuart, Emma said that if you start the dancing off with your dad dancing, you're on a promise. Again. I'd like to thank the North East Cluster guys. Yeah, so. Thanks guys, very interesting bunch of people. Thank you very much for coming this evening, I really appreciate that. And then I'd like to mention my two gay friends, my sailor boys. Where's my sailor boys? John Boy over there and his friend Kevin. They're not actually gay, but I've slept with them. So. We did our training together sailing, and we stayed friends ever since, which is really good. They're a couple of dodgy guys, you know, but you put up with it, don't you? You put up with it. But thanks guys, thanks for coming and your lovely wives. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank long friends that have been friends for a long time. Jackie and Gary. Jackie, Gary, look at Gary, this dodgy fellow here. They put up with us for about 30 years. No, we're longer actually, isn't it? Why, I don't know, but thanks guys. Is Adam here yet? Oh, Adam's their son, who was supposed to be here. I'll send him the bill for the food later. But I was just going to say that they're waiting to have a baby, and I was just going to mention that Gary's a good name to neighbours, where's Anna Paul? Anna Paul, Anna Paul, whoa! And through the lovely neighbours that we had, we met their cousin Joe and Paul under the back. Thanks guys, thanks for coming down. Really appreciate making the effort. And of course I've got to mention the lodge members, haven't I? There's one or two here. That's it. Guys, thank you very much. I've really been a member now for about 35 years, and I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. For you members that you guys aren't members, I've got some joining forms. Back there. I'd like to thank DJ Tony over there. DJ, and he's actually picked out a couple of dressers, so he's going to now point out the male, one of the male?
Second place.
Oh, second place male. What was it? He man. That's his natural hair. First place? Thunderbird for the first place. Where's Thunderbird? Hey! Well, mate, thanks for the effort. Well done. I think we might have been stitched up, but you know. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. And first place for the ladies, or second place for the ladies, is the pink ladies. Where's the pink ladies? Pink ladies, can you come up, please?
All of us. It worked. It worked.
I can share that.
Picture.
Rocky chick. Rocky chick. Hey. She's actually always tackling, especially for tonight. This is commitment. Cheers. Right, guys, that's it really. Thank you for the people that have made my 30 years. I really appreciate it. I won't remember naff all about the job, but the people I definitely will remember. Thank you very much. My intention now is to have a little drink, have a little giggle, and have a little wiggle on the dance floor. So please come and join me.